Hi Corey, how you doing?
Good, Chris. How are you?
Yeah, very well, thanks. Guess I'll just introduce myself first. I'm obviously Chris from Referrals over breakfast, and I thought we'd have a chat today with a fellow RoB member just about your experiences, find out a little bit about yourself, and see then, as usual with these things, to see if you can find any value to give back to the members that might be thinking of joining, or are an existing member and they're, just want to know a little bit more about the Corey. I guess firstly, Corey, tell us a little bit about what you do and yeah, what your experience is so far.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, so my name is obviously Corey, and my business is Melbourne Business Video Production. And what we do is we get your message out. We develop content in a video format and just get your message out and expose you. Because all businesses have a story or some sort of thing they want to express to the greater public, and that's where you need a content creator like myself to deliver that.
Yeah, for sure. And we were just talking before we started recording about the challenges you come across these days with, like essentially what we're doing right now is,
Yeah.
jump on, do a video and think that's video creation. What tips do you have for people when it comes to video creation? Because essentially, anyone's got a camera, they can do things, but they potentially could still use your services just to get tips on how to do that better.
Well, that's exactly right, because DIY videos is what a lot of people do, and it's an efficient way to get your message out quick. And there is a time and place for it, but what I generally do is I can still consult with these videos because you still need to know simple things like framing and composition, and just little tips like how to hold the camera. Even sound can always be a real trouble with that sort of way of videoing yourself. So
Yeah, exactly. Which we talk about even with this one. Like, yeah, we've chosen not to mic ourselves up and record but that's on purpose. We intended that, but there are times when you should be doing that. And we talk about that as well. So,
And that's right. And that's where, like, by consulting me, I can always alleviate the pain of having to do retakes because you just never know what the footage is going to come back like. So you'd rather be set up with the right knowledge and do it one time instead of multiple times.
for sure, yeah. And have you noticed what works for businesses and what's not working for businesses when it comes to video these days?
I think it comes down to what I said before. You need to have your message really clear because you don't want to do video just for the sake of it. You don't want to just be saying something that actually means nothing to your audience. You got to know what you're saying, and you got to know who your audience is as well. So when you've got those two things really clear, it's very simple to do an effective video.
Sure, yeah. And I guess I do remember the first time you came down to RoB and you were a bit nervous about what you said, and you were pretty genuine about where you were in life and what was going on. And I know you've been a busy boy getting married and a whole bunch of other things going on. But do you want to quickly talk about your experience with RoB and what you've sort of found it's done for you in the period you've been involved? So.
Definitely. So for me, I've started a business from scratch basically, and I was so in the dark. I didn't even know about the whole networking concept. I didn't realize this was a thing. And I actually went to a couple. I went to a few different varieties of this, and as you said, like I was probably nervous of what I was up to because I didn't feel like I had the I guess the know-how of how to do this networking thing. And for some reason, I just always felt more comfortable at RoB, and I just felt like it was more of a community. It wasn't so strict on numbers and like you got to give out referrals. It was like everyone was there to sort of help each other.
Yeah.
And I just coming into this group, it did just really. It was like a breeding ground for my business and myself personally. Like I really feel like I've developed a lot just in how I interact with people, and it's kind of skills that you don't get in uni. Like coming out of university, you don't know really the best way to mingle with other businesses. You don't get taught this sort of stuff. So RoB's been amazing in that sort of sense. And I think anyone who's starting their own business, who's from a younger sort of age group, would definitely benefit from doing something like a RoB.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's the interesting thing about RoB is that the age, like diversity we have and experience diversity we have in the group. So look, I know Glennis has been instrumental in some of the successes you've had. And I know you've done business with a number of people in our group, which has also helped you grow your business through that process. So do you want to talk about some of those relationships and how they've sort of fulfilled what you've been trying to achieve this year?
Yeah, well, as you said, Glennis has been amazing. And even with yourself, I really worked out through just being in the group my sort of place in the sales process, because as I said before, you need a great message, and that's where someone like Glennis would be awesome to get that message. And then you come to someone like me, who I can create the content to deliver that message, and then you go to someone like you to distribute the content. And just that sort of those joint ventures that are possible from being in a network like RoB is
sure. Yeah, and you've been like targeting real estate agents and things like that with some of your stuff, and having Zeno in our group's been great for that too.
Well, the best example is I'm trying to get this message out about targeting real estate agents, and I've got a first-hand person I can bounce off ideas. I'm like, does this work? Does this, like, if you were approached with this message, how would you feel? And then I get first-hand feedback, change it, and then I'm good to go. Like, you just don't get that by trying to do this not with a community of people behind you.
That's right, yeah. So, and I think you've learned the other thing about RoB is it's not always about the person in the room you're talking to, it's who they know. So
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where the one-to-ones is coming handy, because it might be something as simple as someone might say, I'm actually wanting to get in the wellness sort of area with my business. And I'm like, well, I actually know someone. It's a simple conversation that brings about a referral, and it never feels forced. It's very natural how everyone sort of goes about. Obviously, everyone's really committed to giving each other referrals, but it's not a thing that's driven into you.
For sure, yeah. And the speakers, what have you been thinking about those that we've sort of brought along?
Yeah, amazing. Like, again, like I'm so new to this whole arena, and just having people, and high profile people too, not just like, you know, people who've done well in their business. These are people like the person who runs the Grand Prix in Cricket Australia, like this high profile people.
Olympians.
Olympians, you know, like it's crazy.
Yeah, and we'll give Frank a call out as a TV guy. You know, they're worthwhile mentioning celebrities. So
yeah, that's right. Yeah, but just getting that advice, like I wouldn't know where to start to find those sort of events. And here I am in a networking group where it just comes to me. There's no like,
including membership.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So look, I do appreciate your time today, and we were just going to keep it quick. But if people are really interested in knowing more about what Corey does and where to find you, where can they find you?
Yeah, okay. So as I said, it's Melbourne Business Video Production. That's my website. It's www.melbournebusinessvideoproduction.com.
Yep.
Also on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. I also YouTube and Vimeo. Like I'm being in the video scene. I've got a lot of content on those channels too. So very active online.
Fantastic. And I believe you do have an offer that you do when you do video with people, especially businesses.
Yeah, so lately I've been doing a lot of corporate videos, and what I found is they always want some stills with that sort of video shoot. So I'm offering free headshots of every video in the corporate scene. So
which is obviously useful for LinkedIn and.
Well, exactly right. LinkedIn, any sort of time you need a headshot, like you don't realize, like with me, I use them all the time, and lucky I can do them myself, but it's very handy to have a professional one done.
Fantastic. Yeah, great. All right. Well, again, thanks for your time today, Corey, and hopefully someone got some value out of this. And if they don't, they need to talk to you directly and get value. So get in touch with Corey. So thanks again for your time, mate.
Thanks, Chris. Have a good one.
You too. See ya.
Bye.